Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Federal Reserve Board voting 9-3 to leave interest rates unchanged for now. The three dissents called for a 1/4 point of a rate hike. That war between Iran creating more uncertainty for oil and gas prices. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
Very little information in this statement when you think about the outlook for the path ahead. It was virtually identical to the statement that the Fed released last month. They did still note that inflation remains elevated, and this is in large part to higher energy prices, that economic activity, they say, is expanding at a solid pace, but really no guidance in this about what the Fed will do in the months ahead.
U.S. forces across the Middle East on high alert following surprise attacks by Iran yesterday, just days after a pause in fighting was announced by the White House. ABC's Rachel Scott has details.
Saudi Arabia under fire from Iranian-backed groups in the region, shooting down drones in the eastern part of the country. Overnight, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia retaliating, striking Iran-backed proxy groups in Iraq. The first time Saudi Arabia has carried out strikes in that country since the start of the war. And in the Red Sea, the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen claim to have struck a Saudi oil tanker, threatening another critical waterway in the Middle East.
Flash floods remain a threat in portions of the Northeast following those severe storms that swept through in the past 24 hours. Areas in eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York receiving 3 to 6 inches of rainfall. Here's ABC's Ginger Z.
We are going to see this same system produce more rain, and that's why we've got an area today of a level 3 out of 4, which is high, right? From Connecticut right through western Massachusetts into southern Vermont. You could easily see 1 to 2 inch per hour rainfall rates, 2 to 4 inch totals on top of what you've already had. We will finally spin this thing out of here by Friday morning.
The nation's midsection and western states, meantime, dealing with searing heat. You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
In Massachusetts, the trial of Lindsay Clancy resumed today. She's accused of killing her 3 young children in 2023. Her attorneys say Clancy suffered from postpartum psychosis and did not receive adequate care for her mental health at the time. ABC News legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer says Clancy broke down in court as the 911 calls from that incident were being played.
This is a case where she is claiming, like other states claim, insanity. Here they call it a lack of criminal intent. So if the idea is she did not understand understand what she was doing at the time, and now the presumption is that she's properly medicated and understands what's going around her. She is realizing and seeing once again how tragic her actions led to the death of her own children. So crying would make sense, but that's if you believe her. If you don't, I can see a jury looking at her and saying, you're faking this. You know what you did, and you're trying to gain sympathy from us.
Schools are now turning to drones to help combat active shooters. ABC's Sophie Flay explains.
The aircraft, called Campus Guardian Angel, can ram into a threat at 50 miles per hour. Mithril Defense, the company behind the drone, says they'll be stored at the schools so teachers can activate them during an emergency. But some parents are raising concerns.
They are operated remotely from Texas.
Critics also argue the drones could misidentify a threat, and they argue school resources should go towards preventing gun violence.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
What's up, Pennsylvania? How y'all doing? This is your girl, Kathy Barnette, sitting in on the Kathy Barnette Show during your drive time. The call-in number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Woo! It is not a shortage of news, breaking news that's going on. But before we get to the breaking news, I want to talk about news that matters to each and every one of us, whether you have kids or not, but especially if you have kids or grandkids or you just care about your community. And I've been talking about this every single time I come on the radio because truly education was one of the chief tools I used to claw my way out of one situation in life and into a better situation in life. And so I homeschooled, my husband and I, we homeschooled our own kids because we just felt as though we could do it better than what was being offered to us in the public school system. And although one of my children have graduated, gone off to college, another is a rising senior, I mean, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would choose my family every single time. And I don't believe that I'm an anomaly. I believe that this is something at the core of every human being who is not, I don't know, caught up in some kind of whirlwind of thinking. And with that, I want to bring on a new friend of mine that I've had the opportunity to speak with, but also I was very impressed with the report that she put out with the Commonwealth Foundation, Rachel Langan. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hi, Kathy. I'm well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Rachel is the Senior Education Policy Analyst at Commonwealth Foundation. And I had the opportunity to go into Commonwealth Foundation. They handed me your report. I took it home, started reading it, and I was just like, wow, 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 wow. This is really good stuff. And you wrote it in such a way that even a layperson who's not on the policy side of what is going on in our schools and how we can better educate our children, I understood everything. So I asked you to come on. You said yes. So thank you.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Listen, Pennsylvania, I don't know if most people know this, but Pennsylvania spends more than $23,000 per public school student. Yet nearly 7 in 10, 70% people, almost 70% of our 8th graders are not proficient in reading nor math. And at the same time, demand for educational scholarships have never been higher. Rachel, can you help us understand what is happening?
Sure. We're seeing since COVID that the COVID school closures exposed the lack of quality education options in Pennsylvania. And I would classify that, being a parent myself whose kids were in public schools until 2020 and then homeschooled them since, that comes down to misalignment between grades and test scores. Kids are coming home with A's and B's, but then when they go and take the AP test, for example, they're failing the AP test. Well, you can't be getting an A in AP Euro and then failing the exam. Like, there is a mismatch here. And then the other thing I would say is a misalignment between family values and what is taught in school. And I experienced that also firsthand as a parent during COVID, listening to what was being talked about in the classroom that was virtual. And I was shocked, and I was like, we can't do this anymore. I'm pulling these kids out. So all of these things have pushed families to look for better options for their kids.
Right. But how is it that we could be spending $23,000 a year, and it has been going on for so long with very little accountability, and our children are coming out, 70% of them are coming out not even being proficient in reading?
That is the $64 question. We are spending more than ever, and the outcomes are they're not back to pre-pandemic levels. So outcomes are worse. We're spending more money, and also we have fewer kids. Like, Pennsylvania's student population is declining, and that means that every year when Pennsylvania increases their state education budget, and every year there's fewer kids, that means that we automatically spend more per child, and no one is holding schools accountable for what they teach. If your school district is on the list of low achieving public schools, meaning you're in the bottom 15% of all performing school districts in the state, you actually get more money to help you close the gap. But nobody ever says, like, hey, how did you do on that gap? Are you making adequate progress? What does that look like? Let's set some benchmarks. Let's set some goals. No, they just continue to give them more money. And it has just really created a system where we're overspending and not getting enough back in academic achievement.
Yeah. Now, speaking about benchmarks, most listeners have never heard of the programs that I was reading in the report that you put out, the Pennsylvania Education Tax Credit Scholarships. And, we use a lot of abbreviations. Help us understand, and I'm going to just go through a list of these in a moment, but let's start off with, what are EITC and OSTC?
Well, the first thing to know is that Pennsylvania's EITC program is different than the federal program by the same name. So EITC is the Education Improvement Tax Credit, and OSTC is the Opportunity Scholarship Tax Credit. So what these are tax credits that businesses and individuals can take. So they make a donation and then they get a tax credit for their donation that help to fund scholarships for kids who are in K-12 attending private schools in Pennsylvania.
And now, how are they different from vouchers? I think most of us are familiar with vouchers. How are the donations that comes from businesses different from that?
Right. So voucher is a word that the left loves to use, and it kind of is a throwback to like the 1990s. And it's meant to kind of cast suspicion on any type of school choice. It's still like called a voucher. It's kind of like a slur. But a voucher is when the state takes money and would give the parent sort of like a coupon that you can, hand into your school that would pay tuition. So a tax credit program is very different because these are individuals and businesses who are donating. So, for example, my husband and I, just for last year, end of the year, became donors to EITC for the first time. So what that looks like for us is, because I do this every day for my job, I'm in touch with a lot of different scholarship organizations in Pennsylvania. And I chose one in Philadelphia because they are serving the neediest of the needy. And we made a donation to the scholarship organization. And then the scholarship organization then gives that money to a school that the school then offsets a child's tuition depending on, it doesn't have to match my donation necessarily. Like typically, if somebody were to donate, let's say $10,000, like that would fund multiple children, or that might, 3,000. A child might get 3,000, another child might get 2,000. Like the schools would be able to break it up depending on the child and the family's need.
Right. Now, who qualifies for these tax credits?
So any kids living in Pennsylvania who are attending private schools in Pennsylvania, however, is means tested, which means your family has to make a certain amount of money or less. So that amount changes each year in the fall. So currently, now this is going to change, in the next 2 months, a family must not earn more than about $116,000 per year. And then there is an additional allowance. So for example, like a single mom with one child, her income has to be less than $116,000, but the state would say, like, okay, we'll give you another $20,000 leeway because you have a child. So then that would kind of put it up to like $136,000 a year. So if they earn under that, they would be able to apply for and receive a scholarship depending on availability. But the data shows that the families that actually receive this scholarships are earning between $44,000 and $78,000 a year, which is far below the government's threshold, and honestly far below the median income for Pennsylvania, which is about, median family income is around $100,000 a year. So these families are earning far below that.
And, one of the things that really popped out at me on page 8, I don't know if you have your book in front of you, but I have your book in front of me on page 8. This was really interesting looking at figure 2 here. I'm assuming the program started in 2016 because that's when this chart starts. But even if it doesn't, let's just look at this. In 2016, about a little less than 50,000 students were awarded this scholarship. So that was in 2016. Now, 2024 or 2023, that has gone from a little under 50,000 to now over 100,000 students who are now receiving this scholarship. So there is clearly a need, a want from parents, right? Parents care. Just because you live in the suburbs, just because your income is $200,000 or more, doesn't mean you care more about the educational opportunities of your children. Here are parents, as you said, many of them making far less than $100,000. But this program has been, there's clearly a need. But what was disheartening was this other column, the number of applications denied. And so in 2023-2024 school year, over 100,000 students were awarded a scholarship. Almost 70,000 were denied. How do you have that conversation with a parent?
Well, that is up to each school and scholarship organization to have that conversation with the parent. So I must have a little quick caveat. The program has actually been around. We celebrated our 25th anniversary this year of EITC. Okay. The reason the chart starts in 2016 was because the way the state collected the data, we did not have the number of scholarships awarded and denied together. I think we only had awarded. So we started the chart when we could make that nice comparison between number awarded and denied. So we don't know why a child was denied. Many, many times it is very likely that it's due to the scholarship caps, like the either fundraising, like they didn't have enough scholarships available, there weren't enough tax credits available. Sometimes tax credits get claimed, and then, like, let's say, for example, a person retires and they no longer have the taxable income, and they say, oh, shoot, like I'm not going to be able to donate this year. So then that tax credit kind of goes back into the pipeline. So you get down to a place sometimes towards the end of the school year where they're not sure how many tax credits are left. There would also be like kids who maybe moved, kids who didn't qualify financially. Maybe they apply and they're right on the threshold. They didn't qualify. So we don't know why kids were denied, but the fact that every year, even though the program has grown every year, the number of students denied pretty much continues to grow right alongside it because there is so much demand for this program.
There is so much demand. Now, the other thing that caught my attention was on page 10. I thought we were primarily talking about Philadelphia County and Allegheny County. And then I got to page 10 on your report, and this is a statewide issue. Just because you're living in the T portion of Pennsylvania doesn't mean, okay, well, this doesn't affect you. And just because, and this is not just an issue in our urban areas. There are places, whether it's urban, suburban, or rural, families are looking for ways to educate their children properly.
Absolutely. This program is accessed in all 67 counties across Pennsylvania, which is fantastic. Now, the heaviest amount of scholarship use is in southeastern Pennsylvania. Philadelphia County accounts for about 1/3 of all of the EITC scholarships in a given year, so about almost half of that 101,000.
And now, like, that's the dollars? Is that dollars, or is that the number of children?
The number of students, yeah.
The number of students, okay.
Yeah. And then if you add in the 5 counties for Philadelphia, like Philadelphia and the 4 collar counties, that accounts for about 1 out of 3. No, sorry, that's half. That's half of all scholarships in the state do go to the Southeast. But then that shows us that there's still like the rest of Pennsylvania takes up the other 50% of those scholarships.
Yeah, I was just looking at the number. Let me see, what is this right here? In 2023, 2024, 101,000 students across all 67 counties benefited from tax credit scholarships. And I just allowed ChatGPT to do the numbers looking at your map. And it showed more than 55% of scholarship recipients actually live outside of Philadelphia and Allegheny County.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So about half of the kids are in presumably rural and suburban Pennsylvania.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and I think that is, I think it's important to me, and I'm assuming if to me, maybe to others as well, is that this is not just those people problems, the urban cities. It is something all across our state. And because I traveled the nation, it's a concern for most parents across our country. But I only have you for a few moments, so let me pivot real quick to solutions. Why has Pennsylvania not opted into the federal scholarship tax credit? Because what we've been talking about so far are just statewide tax credits. But Donald Trump and the big, beautiful bill, I learned this from you when we talked over the phone, also included in the big, beautiful bill is a federal scholarship tax credit. What is the difference, and why has Pennsylvania not opted in yet?
So the federal scholarship tax credit is based on Pennsylvania's EITC program, and it will allow each taxpayer, so if you're filing jointly, that's per tax return, not actually per taxpayer. So each tax return can get a tax credit, 100% federal tax credit. So if you pay IRS taxes of at least $1,700, you qualify to donate to this program. Starting in 2027, you can donate $1,700 annually to a scholarship organization that will provide scholarships for kids.
And that reduces my taxable income if I'm paying.
Correct. Yes. So it's really, there's no reason to not do it. I will be donating to this program myself.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different than EITC in that EITC serves only Pennsylvania. This program will serve kids in all 50 states, presuming that their governor opts in. Our governor has not yet opted in, although 30 other states have. So we're kind of sitting here wondering when he's going to opt in. And our best guess is he's waiting for the election, and then he'll either say yay or nay.
But
we don't know.
The election this November?
Yeah.
Elections? Okay, because there's a deadline on being able to opt in, right?
Correct. He has to opt in by December 31st. And I keep joking that we'll be sitting around on New Year's Eve watching the ball drop and like looking at our watches and saying, did he opt in? Did he do it? So we'll find out.
And what happens if he does not opt in?
If he does not opt in, Pennsylvania loses out on hundreds of millions of tax credit scholarships. And that would just be in year one. As this program grows year to year, we would be losing out on billions over the long term. And as I said, anybody with IRS tax liability can donate. So if Pennsylvania does not opt in, I will still be writing my check, but I will be having to find a scholarship organization in another state that is opted in. So my tax dollars will essentially be coming out of my off my tax return and going to somewhere that's not Pennsylvania. And so Governor Shapiro really would be smart to opt in because that's a lot of money to say no to.
Wow. So if Governor Shapiro does not opt in on the federal scholarship tax credit that was a part of Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill that was passed a year ago. Gosh, time flies so fast. Yeah, a year ago now. Then students here in the great state of Pennsylvania will miss out on $100 million worth of scholarships in the first year, potentially up to billions of dollars of scholarship opportunities. And I just told you guys on page 8, there's clearly a desire of having opportunities to choose where your child should go to school versus being trapped by your zip code. But not only do the students miss out on opportunities, but those of us who actually pay taxes, we miss out unless we find another state. We potentially miss out on reducing our taxable income and saving on taxes.
And I should add, the federal scholarship tax credit will be stackable, meaning if your child already gets an EITC scholarship, they could also get the federal scholarship. Wow. They could also get a private scholarship. And the federal scholarship tax credit is not limited to kids who attend private schools. Public school kids, charter school kids can also qualify. And we're waiting to hear the Treasury will release information by the end of September whether homeschool kids can qualify for the scholarships as well.
Wow. Yeah, that would be really nice because I had to pay taxes and pay property taxes, school taxes, as well as, pay for our own children's education. If you had Governor Shapiro's ear for 5 minutes, speaking to a parent, if a parent has Governor Shapiro's ear for 5 minutes, what should they ask?
I would ask how he could stand in the way of other families being able to access a high-quality private school education that he was able to give to his own kids.
Wow.
There's a lot of families out there who would love to have that opportunity but don't.
Girl.
And he could give them that opportunity, but he's waiting.
You just went straight for the jugular on that one, didn't you?
Yes.
My God. If listeners want to learn more about these scholarship opportunities, or if businesses or business owners want to learn how they can participate, where should they go?
They can go to scholarshipreport.org. And if you're a business, you could go to DCED, which is a Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, and they have a guide for business owners there on how businesses can become donors to the EITC program.
And is that DCED.org?
It is, I think you just type Pennsylvania DCED, and it will take you to some very long URL that's through the state.
Right, exactly. Okay, well, thank you so much for popping in. This is so very educational. I know you got to run. Rachel Langen, Senior Education Policy Analyst at Commonwealth Foundation. I appreciate what you guys are doing over there.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, you're listening to the Kathy Barnette Show, sitting in for your drive time. That call-in number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. We are going to be talking about Fauci. How many of you watched that? I watched all of it. Okay, we'll talk about it.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC. a licensed insurance agency.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lenseek.
Starbucks is hoping AI can help it replace software from Microsoft and IBM. Bloomberg reports that Starbucks is developing an AI-based alternative to Microsoft's inventory management system and IBM's maintenance management software, and that could potentially save the coffee chain around $400 million that it spends each year on software, with Starbucks planning to cut overall spending by $2 billion. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
In Philadelphia, when property damage hits, there's one name more homeowners and business owners trust than anyone else. Morano's Public Adjustment Group, the #1 public adjuster in Philly. Why? Because they don't work for the insurance company, they work for you, fighting to get you the maximum settlement you deserve. Fire, water, storm damage, even denied or underpaid claims. Morano's knows how to win. Don't settle for less. Call the team Philadelphia trusts most. Visit Morano'sAdjustment.com or call today. Morano's Public Adjustment Group, Philadelphia's #1 public adjuster.
Experience matters, especially when you're making an investment in your next vehicle. At Lexus of Cherry Hill, they've built their reputation the right way. Veteran and family owned and operated, and recognized as an 8-time J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. From the refined Lexus RX to the powerful and capable GX, you'll find performance, luxury, and reliability in every model. Visit Lexus of Cherry Hill in Mount Laurel or lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, doing business the right way. For J.D. Power of Excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Yes. I'm all about causing trouble. We need people who are willing to kick up some dust. Clearly, these people that we have placed in positions of power and authority, clearly, they are way too comfortable. We've been talking all week I mean, whether you're talking about how we're interacting with China, whether we're talking about AI, whether we're talking about the globalists, primarily led by the Europeans, whether we're talking about just the bureaucrats in our own country. We have Mickey Rooney, a.k.a. Governor Mickey Sherrill in New Jersey, talking about, I'm not releasing who these 6,000 people were who potentially could have voted or not. Nope, I'm not doing it. Nope. And now I want you guys to listen, because I listened to, I think it was a little over 2.5 hours, and I listened to all of it this morning of the hearing, the Senate committee hearing with Dr. Anthony Fauci, and it was so insufferable. There were moments where I physically felt myself getting heated of just looking at him, either with his head down the majority of the time, hanging his head, fiddling with his ink pen, shaking as he's holding up this statement that he's reading, or just looking at whichever senator was just excoriating him in public. But it was so insufferable. This weak, wrinkly worm of an individual. This little short, beta male activity energy giving worm, recognizing the impact that he had on our lives, on all of us, on businesses, on our children, on our values, on our Constitution, and then the lies. And every time a question was asked of him for 2.5 hours, this is what it sounded like. Play that clip.
What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah. I love what this other, who was it? The senator?
Bernie Moreno, from Ohio.
Play what he said, because I don't cuss, right? Because I'm a good Christian girl. But man, oh man, I was thinking it. Play it.
Those policies were put in place because you had moronic politicians that listened to the words of a megalomaniac who was more interested in having met a Kardashian than the suffering of the American people. And that is you. Your advice to communities like that, to idiotic politicians who enforce those rules, arrested that mom for watching a football game with her own family outside. When that story broke, I said to myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the do you think you were for doing that?
Yes.
It is a total disgrace what you did to this country.
He did it. He did it. Who in the flim-flam do you think you are? Who do you think you are? And let me tell you who he thought he is. Because, he's a self-licking ice cream cone. That's the most generous thing I can give. He's imagine that. Picture it. A self-licking ice cream cone. Ooh, I'm so good. Ooh, good. Great. I'm amazing. Lick, lick. I'm amazing. Oh, I hate these people. But let me tell you who he think he is, right? Who in the flying flam do you think you are? So roughly 1,141 pages of Fauci's diary was released as a part of a Senate package. This is how he spent his time. First of all, who on this God green earth sit down and keeps a diary on just how amazing I am? Let me tell you what he spent his time on. Actually, I had to continue, the prompting of ChatGPT, but eventually it was able to give me a breakdown of the percentage of time he spent talking about our children, talking about our children's education, talking about the businesses he destroyed. And what we come up to, about 103 pages out of the 1,141 pages that was released by Rand Paul in this Senate package. Only 103 pages, roughly 9% of his writing effort went to talk about our children and went to talk about their education. For schools and education, only 88 pages. Out of the 1,141 pages that were released, only 88 pages mention schools and education. That's roughly 7.7% of his time and effort. When it comes to what he did to businesses, to jobs, to our economy, out of the 1,141 pages that were released, only 159 pages he spent any effort talking about your generational business that he shuttered. He did that. That was like 13%. But when it came to him talking about his expanded media presence, his public profile, oh yeah, 758 pages, over 66.4% of the pages that were released to us, he is talking about himself. And let me tell you some of the things he said. Because, the thing with the people who are watching this, I get it. Many of you were between a rock and a hard place. They had you over a barrel. They were pulling you by the hair on your chinny chin. And they were telling you, you're not going to be able to finish college. You're going to lose your job. You're not going to be able to go in and see your grandparents in the nursing home, or to see your dying loved ones in the hospital, or you're not going to be able to go to school, or you're not going to be able to walk and graduate. They were doing everything they could, the government, taking advice and direction from this mealy-mouthed little weasel of a man, Anthony Fauci. They were taking directions from him. We were shuttering schools, shuttering businesses, shutting down. I remember Governor Wolf was in office and churches were closed. And I remember there was a church over here, I think it was in Montgomery County. They wanted to meet. And so they said the pastor will stand outside with a microphone. Families can drive up in their car, sit in their individual cars, and listen to the pastor preach. Every family in that family unit in that home will remain in their car. Their windows will be up. The pastor will stand outside all by himself in the open air and give a sermon. And I remember Governor Wolf made it very public. If you do, I will send children, I don't know, one of his agencies, I think it was the Child Services Department, and we will go and write down every license plate number, and you will be visited at your home. I remember that. And all of this was overwhelmingly because of Dr. Fauci. I'm thinking about the man in the dress, Levine. He was a part of this whole shenanigan. But Dr. Fauci, this is one of the things he wrote. And so I remember all of that and the pain. I had people working on my campaign who did not want to take the jab, ended up taking the jab because he wanted to graduate from Temple University. And Temple was one of the universities that said, if you don't take the jab, you will not be able to graduate. And so he did not want to take it, but he took it. And I remember the harm and what people were going through. I remember because I was a public figure at that point. And so I was meeting a lot of people outside of my own bubble, and people were telling me their stories about how their uncle or their aunt were in a nursing home and how they were placing COVID-19 positive patients inside of nursing homes. I mean, even a box of rocks would know not to do that. So while Levine was putting his mother in a 5-star hotel, when he took his mother out of the nursing home and put her in a 5-star hotel, your family was stuck inside of a nursing home while they were putting COVID-19 positive patients inside of in these nursing homes because they ran out of beds in the hospital. Do y'all remember that? Or do you have amnesia? Have you forgotten what this man has done? And for him to spend 2.5 hours acting like he does not like the limelight, acting like he doesn't want anything to do with television and cameras up in his face. Listen to one of the excerpts from his diary, his public adulation. These are Fauci's actual wordings. Here it is. He wrote that the quote-unquote public adulation surrounding him was remarkable, with White House interns and veteran staff approaching him, congratulating him, thanking him, and requesting selfies. He said, for better or worse, I am becoming an international celebrity. He then noted calls coming from around the world. This explosive flame, he said, after mentioning a flattering Washington Post front page article, he described his national and international fame as explosive and almost unimaginable. That most people, he was the most talked about person. He said, he wrote that it was not hyperbole to regard himself as the country's most famous and talked about person. Y'all see this peacock? Woo, he walking around, high-stepping as a peacock. Look at me. Look at me. I'm so great. He's a self-licking ice cream cone and a peacock. I'm throwing all of those analogies in there together. Do I have to take a break or can I take this call? I have to take a break. Dominique from Ambler, please stay on. I'll be right back.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless-leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinic treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Hey, what's up, Pennsylvania? Woo! Are y'all as hot as I am? Evil incarnate. You're right, Mango Mush. Evil incarnate. He's the epitome of evil in skin. Yeah, I know, Mike. Like, that's always a problem. I'm looking at I'm looking at the YouTube clan. I don't even know. Have you guys given them a name? The YouTube tribe. I don't know. The WPHT tribe.
I don't think they have one yet. You should bestow a name upon them.
Like, you guys have that conversation. We need a name for the posse out here on YouTube. Yes, but so I'm out here on YouTube just kind of reading you guys' notes, going across them. And I mean, you guys are so awesome. How amazing. Okay, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Dominique?
No, Dominic.
Dominic. Hey, Dominic. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Kathy.
Yes.
I'm just so infuriated right now,
Yeah.
sitting there listening to this mass murderer of millions of people.
Woo.
He deliberately killed millions. I mean, how he can walk amongst us is unconscionable. And then the fact that he takes the fifth over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, we all know people, look, if you take the fifth once or twice, okay, I get it. It's your right to do so. But anyone that takes it so many times like Fauci just did, they're guilty. I mean, would you agree with that?
I mean, I don't, generally, it just, I have someone who's going to come on and actually talk about Fauci, him pleading the Fifth Amendment and all of that. And so he will be our legal expert, kind of giving us some color. But even the senators themselves took a lot of time to help educate not only the public, but Fauci and his lawyers about the ramifications of the Fifth.
In my opinion, if you take the Fifth so many times, you're guilty. I mean, remember when that fat orange slob Trump took the Fifth 450 times in that real estate case?
I'm so glad I didn't fall for you.
Remember that, Kathy?
I'm so glad I didn't fall for you. I'm so glad I didn't fall for that blanket. I know. Well, yes, that is true. I hear no lies on that part. But on the other side of it, I mean, come on. Come on, man. I know you hate Donald Trump. I get it. You got an itch. You want to scratch it. But dude, oh no, he hung up. No, come back, Dominique. Come back, Dominique. Come back. Call back in. Come on, man. I mean, come on. I mean, good God Almighty, what do these people have to do to you before you realize they hate you, Dominic, they hate you. That period. They hate you, man. They hate you. They hate your mama. They hate your daddy. They hate your brother them. They hate your sisters. They hate your uncles. They hate everything. You're out here toting the flag, carrying their bucket of water, talking about Donald Trump. Dude, come on, man. Be better. Be better, Dominic. Be better, okay? Read some books. Walk outside. Find a hobby. Take deep breaths. And be better. Don't be so small. I mean, I would be so embarrassed to just be used by people who clearly hate you. I mean, what? Have you guys ever read the book Animal Farm?
Yeah.
I read this because I'm homeschooling my kids, so they were so little, and we would read a chapter every day. And remember the horse in Animal Farm who was just like, I'm going to work for these pigs. I'm going to work for these pigs. They just running his body into the ground. And this horse is like, I'm for the pigs. I'm for the man. I'm gonna work hard for them. I'm gonna trust them. And even when the rest of the farm animals was like, dude, you're so sweet. But my God, man, they're destroying your body. They're destroying your health. They're taking everything from you, man. Can't you see these pigs hate you? And the next scene you see, I think they said, I can't remember, but they said they were taking him to get some new shoes and to clean them all up. And when he got into the van, you read on the outside, glue factory. They were taking him to squeeze the last ounce of life out of him for their benefit. Come on, people, be better. I'll see you on the other side.
The Bloomberg Market Minute sponsored by Piazza Premium, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Federal Reserve officials left interest rates unchanged. The vote marks the fifth straight time officials have opted to leave rates unchanged. At a news conference following the statement, and in contrast to the Fed's lack of action, Chairman Kevin Warsh strongly emphasized his commitment to tackling inflation, saying there is no soft inflation target. FIFA lodged disciplinary charges against two Argentina players for striking Spain opponents moments after the World Cup final, and charged Argentina's Soccer Federation for players showing a political banner about the Falkland Islands after beating England in the semifinals. A list of disciplinary cases opened by FIFA against Argentina also include discriminatory chants and gestures by fans. And Live Golf is reportedly on the verge of canceling its team championship due to financial issues after Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund cut its funding. The Wall Street Journal says Live could scale back operations or shut down entirely in 2027. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, what's the weather like out there?
It's hot, 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 real hot.
Can you tell me what it feels like?
Were you born on the sun? I said it's hot.
This is Jonathan Cans, third generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Is this how you're feeling right now? Well, don't let your house feel like a rainforest anymore. To keep your home cool, contact us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekanze.com.
What if being in recovery from a mental or substance use disorder was something we proudly showed the world? Millions of people are in recovery, sharing hope and support with family, friends, and community. Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. At the White House, President Trump weighing in on renewed strikes by Iran, saying he's been updated on the latest attack in Egypt. Ambry, the maritime security firm, sharing a notification with ABC News about an explosion, stating it was a drone strike that caused the initial fire at a U.S.-owned and operated national gas floating storage facility at the port of Damietta.
I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it.
The president vowing to hit Iranian targets also for Iranian strikes on U.S. facilities in Jordan. Uncertainty in the Middle East impacting oil and gas prices. The Federal Reserve Board, after its policy meeting, voting to keep interest rates unchanged, saying the board is weighing factors. Here's new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh.
The economy is showing impressive resilience. Even with recent shocks, the trends are positive and reveal solid growth.
3 members of the board voting in favor to raise interest rates. Medicare recipients may be in for some sticker shock when they start shopping for next year's plan. A key part of Medicare, Part D prescription drug section of the program, is about to lose a major source of funding.
Dr. Mehmet Oz heads Medicare and Medicaid services for President Trump and said in a social media post yesterday that federal subsidies to the Medicare Part D plan are going away at the end of the year because he says the insurers no longer need them. He said most Medicare recipients will see drug premiums rise by less than $10 a month next year, and that some will see their rates actually drop. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
KFF, a health policy nonprofit, says ending the subsidies may increase premiums for some by as much as $20 a month. You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
On Capitol Hill today, Dr. Anthony Fauci invoking the Fifth Amendment at a Senate hearing. Fauci has become a flashpoint in the debate over the federal government's COVID pandemic response.
Fauci cited what he described as Senator Rand Paul's obsession with calling for his prosecution, saying he believed he was subpoenaed to testify so he could potentially be prosecuted for perjury.
Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
While President Biden preemptively pardoned Fauci on his last day in office, that clemency wouldn't protect Fauci if he was accused of lying to Congress. He's denied wrongdoing and claims he's being vindictively targeted for his role in the pandemic response. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
The American Red Cross with an urgent appeal for blood donations.
We need people to step up. Matt Trotter is with the American Red Cross, which has declared a national blood supply emergency.
If 3 more people came to every Red Cross blood drive over the next month, we would be out of this crisis.
The nonprofit has been hit from both sides of a seasonal increase in demand for blood products and a precipitous decline in donors. A New York State school district that had planned to use a robot powered by artificial intelligence in the classroom is now putting that idea on hold. Parents and teachers citing concerns about how students' personal information would be used. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Finding your next home starts with American Heritage Credit Union's MyCU Home Connection program. Buyers and sellers gain access to exclusive savings, like a 20% cash reward. Enjoy lower rates and a variety of terms. Refinancing options are also available. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/home connection to apply for a free pre-approval today. Insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity. Not a member? Join today. NMLS 433838.
The NLS Braille and Audio Reading Download Service gives patrons with visual impairments or physical limitations the freedom to read their way.
Barge is this beautiful web-based program for searching for books and for the ability to download them.
It's a great way to have a book with you without carrying a book.
For information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Yes, you're listening to Kathy Barnette on the Kathy Barnette Show. The call-in number is 855-839-1210. Patriots and trolls alike are welcome to call in. Yes, please call in. I don't mind. I ain't scared. Call me. Call. And in fact, it sounds like I have a Patriot, G, from South Jersey on the line. Hey, G.
Yes, ma'am. I am a patriot. And for Miss Dominic, as I said, Miss Dominic, go buy a couple because you obviously weren't born with any.
I know, right? Isn't it such beta male energy for a man to call a woman?
I did not know that they were neutering so many boys in school. I did not know that. That'll probably come out later on.
You know, like the men I
if they
grew
can't-
up with, like the men I grew up with around me, my uncles, my brothers, and all of them. I mean, like they would never take energy and time to call a female and to just be so wimpy, right?
Yeah. I like the worm comment you said about the perpetual, never-ending slime ball. Let me tell you something. If that man doesn't face justice here, I know God's going to rip him a new one when he goes to visit, wherever he's going. He might not spend a lot of time upstairs. Most of the time, he'll probably spend downstairs. But it's not going to be nice.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people have that I know that have been personally affected. I know a woman, she lost her mother, her son, and her ex-husband, who she was friendly with, to COVID.
Mother, son, and her son and her mother.
I lost my stepfather-in-law, who's the sweetest human being, never drew a breath, because he was at a nursing home and they put infected people in there.
Yeah, that's what they did.
And they need to have a vaccination to help Trump derangement syndrome. And if it doesn't cure it, at least maybe it'll get rid of a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've been taking these neuroscience classes, and really it's going to take something like a significant shock to get these people out of the derangement, out of the cognitive dissonance that they're in. Like we usually make jokes saying people have lost their mind, but no, I earnestly believe
they have lost their mind.
They have lost their mind. When you understand neuroplasticity and Hebb's law, and I'm a lay person in this, I have no intentions of becoming a subject matter expert, but just as, just someone on the periphery of it all, you understand what is happening. These people have lost their minds.
Yeah, seriously. And they hide it really well until you trigger something, and then they just blow up like Miss Dominic did. They have no tolerance for anything that's outside of their so-called truth, which is fantasy. And the fact that we have so many people that have totally freaking lost their minds has increased tenfold since COVID. I wonder if maybe the shot itself had something to do with it.
I doubt it.
Because there's so many.
But I'm sure
there's
they lost
so many
their mind.
Things. No, but it seems to be a lot worse now. You can't even discuss stuff. They don't want to hear it. Yeah. It's their way or no way.
Can you imagine, though? I mean, just for a moment, imagine thinking you were so right, only to find out, with this whole Fauci hearing, how manipulated you were. And I mean, it probably would take a moment for you to be able to say, wow. I mean, you have to be a special kind of person to be able to take accountability for, for who you once were, because remember when they were suggesting that if you have not taken the shot, you should not be allowed medical treatment if you should get ill. Remember that?
Where I used to work, they were on us all the time. If you want to keep your job, you have to get the shot. We had to wear masks at work because, we didn't want to offend the customers, but the customers did not have to, even though by law they were supposed to, but they don't want to offend anybody by insisting.
None of it made sense. But can you imagine, though, if you were a part of the band of useful idiots who were out there marching, locking arms across 5 lanes of traffic, or if you were one of those bands of useful idiots that were calling the hotline to snitch on your neighbor because they were outside at the park all by themselves. Can you imagine if you were that person and now after some time you realize you were played like a fool, like a fiddle?
No, we know we were played. They don't get it. They still think that what they did was perfectly fine.
You think so?
Yeah. They're not good. First off, their way is the only way, and they're also never going to admit that they were wrong.
Well, and we see a lot of that happening. Thank you so much, Miss G, for listening in. I
Miss
appreciate
Barnette,
you.
you're wonderful. You're wonderful. I love you on the show. And
Thank
God bless you.
Oh, God bless you. That's what I love about my people. We actually have values. We actually know there is such a thing as right and wrong, up and down, a boy versus a girl. We actually know these things. I mean, life is tough. And so we say, put a helmet on, right? Get on out there. If you fall and scrape your knee, let mommy kiss it and you keep moving, right? That's my side. We're not asking to be subsidized because we got a scraped knee. We're not asking to destroy 250 years of the greatest nation that has ever existed on earth because, we don't want to work a 40-hour work week. Because we want someone else to pay all of our bills. No, we understand life is tough. You have to make decisions. If you go left, you can't also go right. You got to choose. You can't have your cake and eat it too all the time. And I love something. I don't know if you guys picked it up from Miss G, but she said, now on the left, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I'm talking about many people I know, people you would think, or okay, maybe we just disagree, but we're still human. Cause the left, they're always talking about, the collective human and how they love people and want to do everything for people. Well, clearly you see a young man get assassinated. You think there's going to be a moment where people are like, okay, wait a minute, that is just too much. This is a young man with a young family, young babies. I don't agree with him, but this is too much. I know people. I spoke to people face to face personally who were offering reasons why it was okay. Guys, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. This is not going to pass. This is not like a pair of bell-bottom jeans in today, out tomorrow. No, there is something very systemic here. And it has been brewing for some time. While we were making jokes and creating memes, these people were digging in. And they have, I'm telling you guys, neuroplasticity, Hebb's Law. They've been beating it in, putting emotions behind it. You put emotions behind an activity or an event, boom, it gets deeper, it gets more solid. And it's automatic. You hear Trump, orange man. You hear Trump racist. You hear Trump, you hear MAGA racist. You hear, it's just automatic. There's very little wiggle room to breathe and think about what is happening. I don't know if you guys have the clip from Fetterman. There was just one lone Democrat who had a moment of just, let me take a breath here and just think. Play that.
But one that it's not about much more your regrets, but I have one. And that is early on that there was the theory that the virus could have emerged from the lab. And early on that became like a right-wing kinds of theory. And I thought it seemed to make sense. Now, there was a really advanced lab that was close by, and then you have this unknown virus out. So, but that became a very partisan thing. And now it seems now it's more and more emerging theory that would have come from the lab. Now, I think that the next time our nation's facing something like this, we are not become, as I might have been, blinded by the partisan idea that maybe the truth might come from a side that's different than you are. But I think we should really be willing to pursue truth, no matter where that may have emerged, after.
Wow. Pursue truth, no matter where it may arrive, not to be blinded by partisanship. He said, maybe, is more reasonable, more likely true than not true that it came from a lab. Of course it came from a lab. Only idiots thought it came from random bats, that somehow people who eat bats grabbed that bat and took it to a wet market. And now in the wet market, a lot of other people who happens to eat bats just contracted the virus. I mean, like, you people really had to jump through mental hoops to arrive at the conclusion that this was anything other than something that was man-made in a lab. So, of course, it came in a lab. He said, I have regrets that I labeled this right-wing theory, and that maybe I was wrong. No, you were. Now, before everyone starts saying, oh, Fetterman for president, let's just remember, what happened between Fetterman before the stroke and Fetterman after the stroke? What happened to Fetterman? The only thing that happened to Fetterman was the stroke, which jarred his brain and reset his brain towards some sense of normalcy. You think I'm playing? I'm not advocating for shock treatment on these people. I'm just asking the question, what happened? Because the Fetterman before the stroke chased a black man down in the street with a shotgun solely for jogging while black. Y'all forgot that? I haven't forgot that. I haven't forgotten it. He was a slob wearing stained sweatshirts with the flag of the, what is it? The THC, what do you call that? What do you call it? The leaf.
Oh, like the marijuana?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're looking so confused, like I'm looking for some big word. No, the marijuana leaf. But what is it called? I'm like, THC? I'm such a nerd. I get it. But I'm like, what is that? What is that thing? Yes, that's what he was doing. He was a slob. He was horrible. Never worked a real day in his life. And now, all of a sudden, he sounds reasonable. Not all the time. Because, newsflash, whenever there is a bill that is consequential, he never votes for it. If it doesn't matter which way it flows, yeah, he'll vote. He'll throw a token vote. Okay? But at least he's sounding more normal, like a human being, versus some blue hair, ring in the nose lunatic. He's sounding more reasonable. Today, he actually wore a suit. Did you see that? Didn't quite look like an orc. I mean, he actually looked like a human, like a senator, like 50 of the most powerful men and women on the entire planet. He kind of, maybe he, what do you call it, cosplay? Maybe he cosplaying a little bit. I don't care. But he looked reasonable. He looked like a human. He didn't look like some orc out of a cave somewhere. And he's sounding reasonable. And I just have to say to you, because I think this gives us some insight on what is it going to take to get these people who have clearly lost their mind back to some state of normalcy. And I'm just presenting the observation, people. The only difference, the only thing that happened to John Fetterman before the stroke, the only difference between the John Fetterman after the stroke versus the John Fetterman before the stroke is the stroke, people. Take it, run with it, do what you want. I'm just laying it out there. Okay? Because we all know he was a horrible slob of an individual. And miraculously, he's actually kind of transforming into what appears to be a reasonable human being. Right? Yeah. Because we have a lot of examples of Democrats who are just, they're just playing the game. I don't think most of these people really believe what it is that they're saying. Most of them are just afraid of the lunatics that they've cultivated for the past 10 years, who were children when they first started cultivating them to become a weapon that they could let out of schools and flood the streets and create chaos. But now those little children have grown up. And now those children are actually most of them are part of the Democrat Socialists of America, and they're actually running for office and replacing them. And now they're actually very vocal and very upfront that they're just using the Democrat Party infrastructure in order to get access to their voters and their infrastructure, because we're a two-party system. And I don't know if you guys saw this news. If you guys can find it over there, that'd be great. But the DNC is broke. They spent over $1 billion in that 2024 election with Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris, who, i.e., is not a Black American. But they spent over $1 billion, and now they're broke. They just financed or mortgaged the DNC building. You have that story?
Yeah, you're correct. Absolutely correct. They have apparently $2 million in debt currently, and that was after it looks like they used their headquarters, the DNC headquarters, as collateral last year to secure a $15 million line of credit to fund off-year elections.
Yeah,
so
they're broke.
Yeah, they've got nothing.
They're broke. These people had $1 billion, people.
And for comparison's sake, the RNC currently has $130 million available, and President Trump has about $400 million in his war chest.
Wow. Well, never forget, Republicans are known for snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. Republicans have a way, boy. We have a way of kneecapping ourselves, even with all that money. But it goes to show that perhaps the Democrat Socialists of America is actually they have energy on their side. They're a bunch of lunatics, but they have energy. And perhaps and I can see the Democrat Party, the DNC, tolerating them just to get access to whatever money they're bringing. And remember, there are a number of people around the world. We've been talking about it Monday. We talked about it yesterday. It's a part of their business strategy. It's a part of their global economic strategy to destroy America. And the Democrat Socialists of America, they are, useful idiots. They're tools in the hands of those who want to destroy this nation, because they do. They've openly called to dismantle the U.S. Constitution. They're not hiding it. Do I have to take a break? Can I keep going? Okay, I have to take a break. Okay, guys, listen, here's the number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I'm going to get back to some of this Dr. Fauci clips, as well as I want to keep reading from his diary. Interesting stuff. See you on the other side.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hit the road this season to watch the Birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the Birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Starbucks is hoping AI can help it replace software from Microsoft and IBM. Bloomberg reports that Starbucks is developing an AI-based alternative to Microsoft's inventory management system and IBM's maintenance management software. And that could potentially save the coffee chain around $400 million that it spends each year on software, with Starbucks planning to cut overall spending by $2 billion. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
Oh, my God, my God. Bless this country, Lord. Bless this country. God bless America. That is not just a banner word for me, but it is truly a heart's cry. What an amazing country. I think about where I came from underneath a rock in dire poverty. Only in America is my story possible. You don't hear my story coming out of China? You don't hear my story coming out of India? No, Indians thrive everywhere except for in India. Indians have to go out of India in order to thrive. If I'm lying, call me Indians. I'll talk to you. I don't care. But it's a fact. Okay? That's why Indians are a little bit of everywhere, all around the globe, and they thrive. Beautiful people, smart people, wonderful, sweet people. I just love it. But it's America that everyone is trying to get inside of. This isn't rocket science. And yet I'm looking at the things we're focused on, hyper-focused on Trump, hyper-focused on stupid things. And our country is going to hell in a handbasket. And I just love this country. I want her to survive. Oh, I was actually going to go to Mark. Did he drop it? Mark, you can call back. I will pick you up. Yeah, it's horrible. You know what? Before I go, Agatha, stay there. I'll be right there with you, Agatha. Is there another caller? Okay. Oh, y'all calling in. Yay. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and go to Agatha. Can I get Agatha on the line? Hey, Agatha.
Hi, Kathy.
Hey, lady. How you doing?
I'm good. I just wanted to say a couple of things. Number one, what about all the women that were having babies that couldn't have their husbands with them?
Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no, Agatha. In addition to that, what about, I knew these people had truly lost their mind when they started advising pregnant women to take the jab.
I know.
And I remember when I was pregnant. Yeah, it was a while ago, but I remember everyone wanted to protect. The common theme was do no harm to the pregnant woman. And all of a sudden we were being advised to give women this experimental drug that we knew nothing about. By that time, we saw young girls getting blood clots, people dying, people having complications. We started hearing about long COVID. We started seeing suddenly drop dead. And they were advocating for women, pregnant women, to get this shot. Crazy.
And my poor daughter-in-law, she couldn't have her baby shower. They called everything off that weekend. So she couldn't have her baby shower, and she had her first child 10 years ago. So when she was pregnant with my grandson, that was a done deal. I didn't get the shot. I refused. I was like a crazy person saying, I'm not getting
You're
it.
not
and
crazy. You're not crazy.
And I'm not,
You're smart.
But I mean, I was a crazy person saying, I'm not getting that shot. What are you, crazy? I'm not getting that. My son didn't get it. My cousin didn't get it. It's a shame my daughter-in-law had to get it because she's in the medical field. And you know, another thing that bothers me, God forbid, I hope I never need a blood transfusion. I don't know if I want somebody else's blood that had COVID.
I know.
Are you kidding me? You're
know.
going to give me your
Could we have pure blood, Agatha?
I know. I'll probably
I
have
don't
to give
want my pure
own
blood being tainted.
And if, God forbid, I'd have to give my own blood because I'm not taking any of that. Not me.
Yeah,
I don't
it was very hard to hear the stories and to see people's lives being destroyed during that window.
My uncle passed away by himself in a nursing home, in a rehab. He was all by himself.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you remember what we never talk about anymore? Remember, Matt? I don't know if you could pull this up, but remember during those horrible days with COVID. Remember in New York there was a truck and they were just throwing dead bodies on the back of that truck. Remember that?
Yes.
If you could find that story. Matt, I mean, I'm not making any of these things up. I know some of you have the memory of a squirrel. Well, no, squirrels have long memory. What's the name of that a gerbil that just go around and around in a cage because they forget It's already been
hamster?
around. What?
The hamsters?
The hamster, yeah. The hamster. Like some of you have the memory of a hamster. You forget you just went around around that story, and you forget. And you
I'm sorry, just one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody that knows somebody that has had every test under the sun, and they can't find out what's wrong with her. Hello, she got COVID shot after COVID shot after COVID shot, and she's sick, and they don't know why. They can't figure out why she's sick.
Well, God be with them. I mean, my own mother turned herself into a pincushion for those. Every sniffle, everything. No matter what I said, she just kept going. That certain age group, they were so fearful. And a lot of it is because, the arrogance of people like Dr. Fauci. He seems so confident that he had the answers. And yet, what we saw today, I don't know if you watched any of that hearing, is that, he was writing in his diary months in advance, knowing that it did not come from a wet market. And yet they played a video in the hearing of, hundreds of videos of him going from one news show to the next news show saying it came from a wet market. It came from a wet market. But then they showed the insert. The insert in his diary where he wrote in January, I think it was January 20th, that we know it did not come from a wet market.
Well, another thing that he was in cahoots with, I don't know how they would have, what are those puppies with those floppy ears? They were testing them. They would make them drink dishwater, and
those
he had something to do with that too.
The beagles?
Yeah.
What was
it? The beagles. Yeah.
Yeah, poor little animals. I get it. I got it. Okay. Agatha, thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for taking my
it.
call. Take care, Kathy. God bless.
Yes. Matt, we were talking a few moments ago about, I just kind of threw it out there that the DNC is bankrupt. They are in need of money. I think you read they are $2 million in debt. They put up the building of the DNC as collateral to get $15 million for this 2024 off-year election.
Yeah, it was 2025, so they don't even have the money anymore. They already used it.
Wow. Last year. So they wow. And so, and they're broke. And so I could see a world that although they know these Democrat socialists are not for them, only using and exploiting them for their infrastructure, but they have some energy. AOC and Bernie Sanders, they are like fundraising juggernauts. They are just people. They're just raising money hand over fist. And I could see them allowing these Democrat socialists who are coming in, running and kicking out, defeating long-held seats by incumbents. And they will tolerate them because, like I was trying to say to Dominic, they hate you. They hate all of us. They just want to stay in power. And that's the unfortunate situation when you're dealing with the system. The system only protects the system. It's not there to protect you. That may be written in their mission statement, but the way the system organizes itself is really just to protect the system. I learned this by reading Daniel Patrick Moynihan's book. It is so old. You probably can't even find it anymore. Called Maximum Feasible Misunderstanding. Isn't that a name for a title? Maximum Feasible Misunderstanding. That is our government. And he worked for Nixon, White House, LBJ. He ran for senator. The man was just amazing. And he wrote it all down on why LBJ's what was that package called? I'm losing my thought
Oh,
here.
Great Society.
The Great Society. Matt, you're amazing. That
you.
young mind. Yeah, the Great Society. The Great Society was such a flop, and why it will never fail. Now, this is a long time ago. Like I said, he was middle-aged man when he was working in Nixon and LBJ's White House, but he wrote it down. And it's the system. It's the bureaucrats. It is designed. In the design, on day one, in the design is maximum feasible misunderstanding. It's not designed to actually fix a problem. It's designed to acquire a big budget, to spend that budget, and then to come back to you and I as the voter and say, oh, shucks, oh, man, just give me more time, give me more money. This time is different. We're going to get after it. And now you have black people who've been on this Democrat plantation for 70 plus years since LBJ's Great Society. Bills, package of bills. 70 years. 70 long years. Black people have been like a hamster going around and around and around. And every year, you got people like Mad Madeline Dean over there in Congressional District 4 and Summer Lee and all these other Democrats who's saying more time, more money. This time is different. It's Donald Trump's fault. It's Republicans' fault. And you go into places like Philadelphia, and you will be hard-pressed to find a Republican anywhere. There are no Republicans. It's all Democrats. And yet black people refuse because it was designed that way. It really was. It was designed. And people have very short memories like a hamster. They just keep going around and around that circle thinking, well, the next time I get around that circle, it's going to be something different. Okay, well, the next time I go around that circle, it's going to be something. Okay, the next time I go around this circle, it's going to be, that cheese is going to be there. It's going to be there. And it's never there. And then someone like me walks in and says, there is no cheese. Get off the wheel. Just stop. I'm the bad one. I'm the big, bad, mean person. No, I want to get back. But I went back to the DNC because the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, they are very well financed. I talked about this a little bit in my interview that I played for you guys on Monday with Josh Phillips over at Epic Times, and he introduced me to the name of Neville Roy Singham. He is a billionaire American who lives in China, out of Connecticut, but he lives in China. And between 2017 and 2025, he has given over $590 million towards socialist, towards revolutionary, not toward the Democrat Party, specifically towards the socialists around the world, the Democrat socialists, the anarchists, the revolutionaries, the Antifas. So they're very well funded. And so these people will always find money, the DSAs, because they want to fundamentally destroy this country. So there's always going to be someone, whether domestically or internationally, who will give them the money they want and need just to continue to create chaos. Remember, we talked about that. That's China's strategy. China doesn't need to go head to head with you and I in America. They could just keep us engaged with other entanglements, whether domestic entanglements. Mark was on the line a few moments ago, and I guess he said he was angry and that he doesn't really care. What was it? He doesn't really care about Fauci?
Yeah, he said he had no interest in Fauci, and he had some critiques of the Trump economy.
Yeah, exactly, right. No. One of my questions to Mark was going to be, do you have any children? Are you independently wealthy, so you didn't need to have a job? Do you not go out to restaurants? Are you a religious man? Was your church doors closed? I mean, the only people who would say, I don't care about Fauci are people who are perhaps, let's say, independently wealthy and a hermit. They have no reason to go outside of their little fiefdom to engage with anyone. Or they're deranged. They've lost their mind. They've lost grip on reality. And they need to take a page from Eminem and get back to reality and figure some things out. Or, I don't know, can we play that song on the way out? Or they're just manipulating you, people. I mean, pick it. Pick your devil. Yeah, the people on have you guys come up with the name yet on YouTube of who we're going to call you? The 1210 tribe. I don't know, but they're really wanting to know some answers about who gave the DNC a line of credit. I love it. Yeah, I got to take a break real soon, but let me read some more of these. Because again, I'm calling Fauci a self-licking ice cream cone. I wish I could take credit for that image, for that phrase, but my good friend Christian gave it to me. A self-licking ice cream cone. That's who Fauci is. In his diary, he wrote about his explosive fame. He said, after mentioning a flattering Washington Post front page article, he described his national and international fame as explosive and almost unimaginable. He wrote that it was not hyperbole to regard himself as the country's most famous and talked about person. He said in the same entry, he described himself as one of the world's most recognizable people and said there were too many. Another one talking about taking Trump's spotlight, he wrote that President Trump appeared enamored of him, even though Fauci was taking the spotlight away from Trump. Regarding the press going wild, and they were, boy, it was like a feeding frenzy. They just loved him. It's a cult around Fauci. You can't even mention his name. Remember when he said, I am science. I am God. That's what he said. I don't know if you guys can find that clip real quick. But he said, he wrote that the press was going wild, quote unquote, over him and listed front page and opinion coverage in major publications. He said under a press notation, he described print profiles and features about him as too numerous to count. Oh, here's the one. Sexiest man alive. Fauci recorded a petition that his little cult followers were passing around, I guess, to name him sexiest man alive. I don't see it. I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I'm looking at this little mealy mouth, weasel looking eyes, little weasel eyes, them little beady eyes. Frail. A little worm, like he's sickly. But he said he recorded a petition to name him sexiest man alive, along with video games, restaurant dishes, and bobbleheads bearing his name. Regarding the bobbleheads, let me see, double click on that. He separately recorded that bobbleheads of him were being manufactured in massive quantities in China and included a related video link. Oh, Brad Pitt. He recorded that Brad Pitt portrayed him on Saturday Night Live and then thanked him seriously after the sketch. I saw that. I don't know if you guys saw that. Did you guys see that? Where Brad Pitt portrayed him?
Mercifully, I missed that.
Yeah. Brad Pitt. Oh my gosh. I loved Brad Pitt. I named my cat Tristan from that movie he was in. The first movie I saw Brad Pitt in, long hair, gorgeous, OMG. Brad Pitt was everything back in the day. Brad Pitt, not so much today. But I remember that that skit where he portrayed Fauci, and then when it was over, he does a straight look into the camera, very serious, very somber, and he thanks Fauci profusely. And so Fauci was enamored by that and recorded it in his diary. In another entry, Fauci wrote that he had been spoofed on SNL and immediately noted the associated media buzz. Dancing with the Stars. I have been invited to appear on Dancing with the Stars. No thanks, he says. Yeah. Most credible scientist. After describing support for him during the Trump White House effort to discredit him, Fauci characterized the attack as an attempt to discredit the world's most credible scientist. I'm going to read this one. Fauci recorded that the Washington Nationals mask he wore at a hearing was going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Wow. While your lives were being destroyed, this man was having the time of his life. These were the best days. COVID, the year between 2020 and 2024, may have been the worst years in your life, but in Fauci's life, it was the best time of his life. When I get back, I'm going to tell you guys the millions of dollars this man banked. Yeah, he was cashing in left and right, using taxpayer dollars to do it. If I have time, do I have time? Do I have to go to break? Millions idolized him. Let me know. Oh, yes. Play that Fauci clip.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. Science and the truth are being attacked.
Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
Who responds to themselves in the third person? Play that again. Listen to the first part of that.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. Science and the truth are being attacked.
Oh, so if I attack Dr. Fauci, I'm attacking science, I'm attacking truth. And then today, according to the Associated Press, he invoked his Fifth Amendment right over 100 times. In the 2.5 hours I was listening, I watched that hearing today. He invoked his Fifth Amendment right over 100 times, according to the Associated Press and other major outlets. Fox News said it was 111 times. 111 times Dr. Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment. All of a sudden, after all of this licking he did on himself, after all of this idolizing he did of himself, now suddenly, he doesn't want to say anything. You can take me out, guys. You want to play that clip one more time of him saying, I invoke my Fifth Amendment?
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. Science and the truth are being attacked.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and take me out. Guys, here's a call-in number, 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. Do we have that? I don't know if we can even play Eminem Back to Reality.
How about a summer Friday down in Cape May, huh? It's Rich Zioli. I want you to join me
at my happy place, which will be your happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey, Friday, August 7th, 3 to 6 p.m. Old School PM Drive Show. It's going to be a blast. We'll have fun. We'll hang out. That's Friday, August 7th, 3 to 6 p.m. at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. You don't want to miss this, so spend a summer Friday with us.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active, and it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS. Actor portrayal.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhaus, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right, your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137.
This is Mike Quick. Get rid of those flimsy tablets and slow computers and get your team the game changer in point-of-sale solutions for restaurants, casinos, and bars. PDQ POS. Their state-of-the-art technology ensures that transactions are swift, secure, and hassle-free. But that's not all. PDQ Signature Systems is not just a point-of-sale system, it's a complete business management solution. Join the thousands of companies that have made the switch and upgrade to a customized POS solution from PDQ Signature Systems. Visit PDQPOS.com.
It feels like every day there's something in the headlines that could make you wonder to yourself, is now even a good time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 28 years, and each week he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., and 5 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. BABBEL.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy.
and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
You know what I don't like? Paying for something twice. I can't stand that. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. That's why when it comes to your roof, siding, doors, and windows, there's only one call you should make, and that's to my guys at Emmons Roofing and Siding. Emmons is a platinum Owens Corning contractor, which means that Owens Corning backs not just the shingles, but the workmanship as well for life. That's right, for life. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, residential or commercial, done right the first time, every time. Go to emmonsroofing.com.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Are you ready for the biggest 80s event of 2026? Howard Jones presents Things Can Only Get Better Tour with additional full sets by Wang Chung, Dance all day long. English Beat, Modern English, and hosted by Richard Blade. Friday, August 14th, Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Tickets on sale now at theborgata.com. Just when you thought it couldn't get any bigger, things can only get better.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of non-stop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Like, take that, take that, take that, take that. What's up, Pennsylvania? How y'all doing? I'm so grateful to you guys. You guys are so awesome out here on YouTube. I hear someone, Tib9838, you said, I've been laughing so hard today listening to Kathy's show. self-licking ice cream cone, both informative and funny. It is informative, right? I mean, imagine. I mean, you got to picture it. You got to really pause and picture a self-licking ice cream cone. That is who Dr. Fauci was. But then all of a sudden today, he wanted to look like, I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here. Like, what's going on? What happened? I don't know. Well, helping us kind of understand what we just watched out of these 2.5+ hours with Dr. Fauci invoking his Fifth Amendment over 100 times. Fox News has it at 111 times. Is someone you guys are very familiar with, Guy Sarachi. Hey, Guy, how are you?
Good afternoon, Kathy. Good afternoon. If I could explain Dr. Fauci to you in the audience, I'd be a wealthy man. I don't know that I can explain him, but you and I can try to educate people about what he's all about.
Yes. You know what? I think that's going to be good. I did have a couple of people, I don't want to really call them trolls, but I guess one would call them a troll who called in, right? Like all of a sudden, they don't care about Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci is not our number one issue. That happened a long time ago. Let's just look forward. And right now, of course, it's all about Donald Trump and how he's so horrible. But before you start talking, Guy, let me introduce, let me give people your bio. Guy Sarachi, he's a senior fellow at the Commonwealth Foundation. We just had Rachel Langan on from the Commonwealth Foundation earlier at 3 o'clock, Guy, talking about all the work you guys are doing on the educational tax credits. Great work. But Guy is also a writer for Broad and Liberty and Real Clear PA, and a former Republican nominee for Congress. I met you when we were both out there on the campaign trail. I was running for Senate. I think you were running for governor, if I have that correct. But it's good to catch up with you again.
It's good to catch up. It's as you know, I always tell people it's a much bigger state than you realize as you travel. The distance from Philadelphia to Punxsutawney, get a comfortable seat. Get a comfortable seat. Yeah, but it's funny because here we are, right? July of 2026, and it's still many of the same things. And to the people who say to you or me, this is old news, and that's one of the themes you're seeing on social media from the left. Why are you bothering? I mean, it either is he's a hero, why are you picking on him, or this is old news, why do I care? Well, we care for the same reason that people have cared, whether it was fighting about the need to go to war in the Middle East or the need to go to war in Vietnam, or whether we cared about Watergate or we cared about the Teapot Dome scandal. We care when our tax dollars are used to line the pockets of elected officials who line their own pockets. We care when elected officials take our tax dollars and use the government as a weapon against us. We care when public officials take our tax dollars and purposefully lie to us. And when we find out the lies, the deception, the corruption, the fraud, the waste, the weaponization, it needs to be exposed. One, because people are due an apology, taxpayers due an apology, but we are to learn these lessons for the next time. That's the purpose. That's why our friends on the left don't like to study history, and conservatives usually do. We learn the lessons. For those that say, let's move on to something bigger, I don't know. We shut down government. We let senior citizens die alone. We shoved masks on 6-year-olds. Millions of people lost their job. Hundreds of thousands of small businesses went out of existence. Kids in school lost 2 years of academics. We will forever have a class of children who are academically behind where they should be. And the federal government colluded with legacy media and Facebook to make sure that people like you and me couldn't post messages, and the doctors we wanted to hear from couldn't have a voice. Gee, Kathy, I think you and me are right. I think we should maybe pause and talk about this.
Oh, my goodness.
And when the main guy says, who, me? I'm just a simple country doctor. I'm retired. I'm a retired public servant. I don't know why you care. To quote a famous former president, that's a load of malarkey.
Oh, my goodness. I done got heated all over again, Guy. You're making me angry. I was sitting there somewhere within the 2.5 hours. of watching Fauci, spending a whole lot of time staring at his fingers, fidgeting with this ink pen in his hand, looking down for most of it. And then when he would look up, just trying to look feeble, as if he has no idea why he's there. But as they were reading the things that happened to Americans and recounting some of these stories, I just got so angry. And I think it's necessary. I think, one, it is necessary to put a big, bright spotlight on the decisions and the events that our public leaders do, supposedly on our behalf. And especially when something has gone fundamentally wrong with the decisions that they made. But I think it's also important for accountability because our nation is not one where we are forced to be in this republic, but we have all consented to be governed as a constitutional republic. And when people begin to realize I cannot trust the media, I cannot trust institutions, I cannot trust my government. I mean, we are, and then God forbid another significant event happens, we're going to be in trouble. So we need to see the accountability. But not only that, after this accountability, because we see a lot of these things as theater, we need to see people actually being held accountable. And I don't know if we're going to get there or not, but this is certainly the first step of many.
No, I mean, well said. And it's important, like with September 11th, not to compare the two, but these are seminal moments and they're lessons to be learned. So when a generation later, as you and I lived through September 11th and know people that worked in Manhattan and know people that worked at the Pentagon, and we are a generation later and we have people running for office and holding office saying that the United States had this coming to them, and a generation of people who went to school in a world of a revisionist history, it's important that folks like you and I and the members of the audience speak out so that we do not have a generation of people not know what 9/11 was. The same thing for this. There are a whole bunch of people in their teens and 20s. There are a whole bunch of people who don't really remember because maybe they were 10 or they were 17, or all they remember is that college was closed. And it's important that we go back, again, not in a vindictive, angry mob, but for historical purposes. Kathy, I've been writing columns off and on back to the days when I lived in South Philly, and I used to write columns in the old South Philly Chronicle and the South Philly Review. But my first column in Broad and Liberty, when Broad and Liberty was less than a year old, my first column in Broad and Liberty was during COVID, and I said the second casualty of COVID is not the virus, it's the break in public trust. It's that they caused us to doubt our institutions. Yeah. They caused us to doubt. And as Americans, we should always be skeptical because we don't elect kings, as our friends chant. We should always be skeptical, but they turned us into cynics. We learned that there were experts who lied to us. And that was the first column I wrote. And most of the first year I wrote was about elements of COVID and the violations of trust and the harms done to business and the harms done to students and the harms done to our economy and the harms done to the First Amendment and the collusion between the government to silence us. Yeah. So we come back to the man who was at the center of it, who we now know in his own words, not Kathy Barnette, not Guy Shiraki. We now know in his own words that many of the things you and I tried to say and were dismissed out of hand, he knew to be true. So this isn't revisionist history. This isn't vindictiveness. This is making sure that we as Americans learn this important chapter of our history and the mistakes we made. And to simply say it's time to move on or, well, they did their best. They didn't do their best when they knew it came from the lab that your listeners and I and you paid our tax dollars. Money came out of your paycheck and mine. Money came out of the paychecks of the listeners to go into the federal government to be shipped to the Wuhan lab to help pay for the cost of experimental science, which ultimately came back to the United States in the form of that insidious virus. Right. And we had the chief guy in charge tell us that it was a bat. when he knew, and we now know he knew, that he was lying to us. We can't sweep that under the rug, and you can't say move along, nothing to see here.
Absolutely. I love the word that you used at the very beginning, a seminal moment. It really is. It's one of those moments where we must refuse to surrender despite the overwhelming pressure and the overwhelming odds of us ever holding any of these people accountable. Like, yes, I want to hold them accountable, but we have step one. And as much as Democrats, socialists, and others would like us to just abandon the Constitution, I think we have to have people like you and I and so many others that even in the midst of this, 2020 through 2024, and we were out there running for office, I didn't see you wear a mask. I mean, I was like, I'm a free person. I'm over this. This is crazy. I was willing the first 2 weeks of slow the car. Even that was a farce. Now we know, right, of how it came out today, how he and Dr. Byrd were trying to manipulate Donald Trump to feel as though he had no other option but to shut the entire nation down. I can't think of a time throughout American history, our 250 years of history, that we've ever shut the entire nation down. And today we find out in his diary that he and Byrd intentionally colluded to manipulate Donald Trump into believing he had no other options.
Right.
I mean, how do you let that go? How do you let that go?
Amen. No, amen. I mean, how do you say he's just a retired public servant and why are we rehashing this? He lied to the president on our behalf with our tax dollars. He lied to us. And Kathy, remember, right, I know you're emphasizing the point, and I agree, when they shut us down, but remember what they did to us. They didn't just shut us down. They then put other bureaucrats in deciding whether your job was essential or not. You had to fill out forms and email them to Harrisburg so that people sitting in their homes, nameless, faceless bureaucrats, sitting in their homes in Camp Hill or Hershey or Harrisburg, sitting there decided whether or not your auto body shop was essential, and you had to fight appeals.
I remember that.
And then we learned that, remember the others and the Gavin Newsoms of the world who still held fundraisers and parties and the protests that were allowed because they were essential. It would be bad in the public interest.
Oh, my God. Remember, Black Lives Matter could protest, but you and I couldn't host a rally without someone labeling us a grandmama killer, right? We're going to kill Granny.
Right. No, right. It's that Governor Wolf marched in those marches.
Yes.
And had his picture taken in those marches, while at the same time, Dr. Levine had a tip line and told people Soviet, communist, Chinese communist style. If your neighbor is misbehaving, if your neighbor has a gathering, if you see a business open, call in a Soviet hide secret police. Right. So you're right. They shut us down. But what we learned is that there was us and then there was them. And if your job was deemed essential, and again, bless their hearts, the people who were nurses and doctors and EMTs and aides who had to go to work in hospitals and deal with it and not know on the front lines, again, bless them, because on the front lines, they didn't necessarily know. The people who were at, Jefferson Hospital or Paoli Hospital or Lincoln Hospital, as aides and technicians who had to go to work. But the other people, which contractors were allowed to be open and which weren't, which roads were essential and which weren't, which buildings were and which weren't. And I remember then, Kathy, I was running the CEO of the Chester County Chamber, and we used to have seminars for our members as to what to do. And I would have people that is a chamber, that is America, and the people who ran comic book stores and pizza parlors and caterers and realtors who were crying because their job wasn't essential. Their life savings, their livelihood was to run a comic book store or an antique shop or a coffee shop
Doesn't
or
matter.
a caterer where they would
exactly.
do parties. Right. And they sat there because other people sat in judgment and said, hey, Kathy, your catering business is not essential. Sit home and we'll wire you money.
Wow.
Just sit home.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you invite your neighbors over for a cookout, we have a tip line so that your neighbor can call the state police and they can come and fine you or arrest you. And they want us to forget that and move on.
Yeah, I refuse.
Not me.
I refuse.
Not
I
me.
refuse to forget it. I refuse. Now, I have to say, we did not, my family and I, we did not, my mother did take the shot. She became like a pincushion, unfortunately, for the shot. But my husband, myself, my children, we just absolutely refused. And we decided as a family, come what may, we were going to live as free people. We were not going to, I stopped with the mask. I mean, because it's not healthy. I'm looking at my children, their little faces are breaking out. It was just horrible what was happening to our nation. And the fact that, you know, all of a sudden, otherwise reasonable people were just acting like lunatics. You guys have that clip ready of Josh Hawley. I want you to respond to this.
Oh, yeah.
Constitution. Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah. So I want you to respond, Guy, but I took a photo of Senator Josh Hawley put up a poster of all of the 8 federal employees that Fauci used 8 federal employees to apply for awards. And I took a photo of them and I started researching how much money Fauci received from all of that. From the Dan David Prize, the stated award is $1 million. Fauci personally received, and he had to show proof of this, $899,960 were deposited into his bank account for the AAA, the AAAS Phillip Prize is $5,000 is the stated award. He received $5,000, but he went down and he used federal employees, his secretary and then one other female, they mentioned their name, to go out and to apply for all of these awards. And then they started calling the people saying, you need to make it okay ethically for him to receive these rewards, because several of the rewards, they would not give it to him because they said he was prohibited from accepting it as a public official.
Yeah. Our friends say, why are we doing this? It's old news. He's retired. This is another reason. He abused his authority. He got rich off of his authority. He misused government employees when other people were being laid off, when other people's businesses were going out of business. And as you remember, while friends of ours waited weeks and months for their unemployment checks because they were ordered not to go to work, and their businesses were closed. If you didn't work for yourself, you didn't have any wiggle room. If you were the general manager of a restaurant, it was closed. If you were a realtor and the real estate office was closed, or you couldn't go to a closing because the title clerks weren't allowed to close the sale, right? So you were waiting. So while government was broken down, we had 8 people, all of whom I'm sure were making high 5 or 6 figures or more, certainly 6 figures more in benefits, running around trying to get this guy prizes and awards like some sort of third world dictator, putting ribbons, his 85th ribbon on their lapel. That's why we remember this. And again, for a man who allegedly dedicated his life to science and learning and uncovering the truth and teaching and making an impact, this was a moment to sit down and say, these are the things I did that I stand by. These are the things I did wrong. These are the times I acted out of fear. And yes, take your lumps and say, and these were the times I made the decision I had to lie to the American public because of whatever reason. Look, remember the whole bit with the mask.
Yeah.
Go back.
I was just thinking that.
First it was don't wear masks. Masks do nothing. This isn't that type of virus. I want to assure people you don't need them. He said that. And then it was a mask. And then it was maybe 2 masks. And then when the information was coming out saying maybe it didn't work, it was, well, there's no harm in wearing masks. This was the chief guy in charge.
Right.
That in the span of 2 years, we went from no mask to 1 mask to 2 masks to, there's no harm in wearing masks. That's why we come back, again, not to be vindictive, not to throw tomatoes at him, but to recognize that we were taken advantage of, we were abused, our dollars were wasted, lives were taken, livelihoods were taken away, people died alone, children were harassed, children were locked out of school. The kids in the Philadelphia school district, as you know, Kathy, they left school in March of 2020. They did not return to a live classroom. They did not return to a live classroom until September of 2021, when 6 schools were then closed because they had lead in their water, and none of the knuckleheads on Broad Street decided to take the 18 months they were closed to do that. So who's going to apologize to the moms and dads in Philadelphia whose children did not see a live teacher for 18 months or more? Why wouldn't Dr. Fauci apologize to the parents of children in Philadelphia, especially when folks like you and me, we certainly knew by the fall of 20, certainly by the winter of 20, certainly by 2021, that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds were almost totally impervious to this.
Yeah.
But for those children that may have had conditions of asthma or recovering from cancer, but your garden variety 10-year-old was fine. And we locked them out. So it's not to be vindictive. It's to lessons learned, to learn the level of abuse so we don't get hoodwinked again. And so this doesn't happen again under the guise of, well, we're doing our best. See, the diary tells us, again, what may be different than your doctor or mine, may be different than the nurse at Lankenau Hospital who was doing her best. We know that the chief guy in charge wasn't doing his best.
No.
He was manipulating data, hiding facts, and telling us lies to achieve other goals. And I don't know why our fellow Americans don't want to know that, to apologize to a nation, to track down the people who lied to us, and to teach our children, never should this happen again.
I mean, his
Never
net
should this happen
worth,
again.
like Josh Hawley, I think it was Josh Hawley who said, Senator Josh Hawley who said it, Fauci's net worth is a little over $12 million right now. The pension paid out in his first year was $400,000. So he got paid while millions of people died or had their lives radically altered.
Yes, which is not public service in the way you and I understand it. As we say cynically about many in government, they go to do good and they do well. He went to do, maybe 50 years ago, he went to do good. At some point, he decided to do well for himself because civil servants don't leave $12 million richer. But then again, Bernie Sanders is a socialist that owns 6 homes. So
it always seems
you and
to
I
be
are doing
the
it wrong.
Democrats. I don't know. It always seems to be the people on the other side of the aisle who go in broke. I mean, look, what's her name? Ilhan Omar. How much is her net worth? This is just, it's you know what? I'm over it. And I think most of us are over it. And this time is not different. there's something very different that is going on right now with the American people. I probably spent more time with the American people than our voting base than most people, the way we traveled around all over the place. And I'm telling you, this thing is not looking pretty. Guy, thank you. I could just keep you on if you want to stay on for the next, when we come back from this break. But thank you so much. I appreciate your insight.
I appreciate this. It was cathartic, so you probably saved me some indigestion. No, and look, this is why conservatives do that. We do this for lessons learned, but we do it for teaching, and this time now more than ever, right, Kathy? After the way the education system only tells part of the story, things like this are necessary. So I appreciate what you're doing, and appreciate the opportunity. And whether Fauci talks or not, let's make sure that the story is told so that our kids and grandkids know the truth.
I love it. Okay, guys, that's Guy Shirachi. Guy, if you want to stay on, please do. But we're getting ready to go for a break. The call-in number is 855-839-1210. I cannot believe it. We're almost over again. The show is almost over. Give me a call, people. Bye.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Why do some people just seem to age better than others? Truth is, it may have less to do with age and more to do with how well their bodies repair and recover each day. That's why Rescue created their Renew You age-defying drink mix. For a limited time, listeners can buy one, get 2 more free at res-q.com. Renew You is a delicious orange drink packed with powerful amino acids that support muscle energy, collagen production, brain function, and the building blocks your body needs to age well. Just mix it with water and enjoy. Plus, it's loaded with antioxidants to support youthful skin and cellular renewal, helping you feel energized and ready to enjoy the things you love with confidence. Just go to res-q.com and look for the buy one, get 2 free Renew You bundle. Or call a product consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Don't wait. Give your body what it needs for lasting vitality. Visit res-q.com. Claim your buy one, get 2 free Renew You bundle today.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
I wish I could sing, y'all. I would sing that with them. Oh, America. America. Like, how did we get so many people in positions of authority who clearly do not, like or love America? I don't even understand it. How in the world? Like, I often think, like, I'm sure they're not doing this level of reflection, but I think to myself, I mean, to be the person who destroys the greatest nation in the world, like, that is so horrible to be that person. But that's exactly what we're living through right now. People who are actively destroying the country. And please make no mistake, I am an equal opportunity offender. If you do something crazy, you deserve to be offended. And right now with the Republican Party, their theme as we march into November is we're not the Democrat socialists. Like, go look at them on social media or poke your head into Fox News or you listen to them come on shows. There's no heart. There's no vision. It is, don't vote for Democrat socialists because they're going to change everything. Vote for us. We ain't going to do nothing. We ain't going to do a doggone thing. Vote for us. We're not them. And it didn't work for the left in 2024. It's not going to work for us. And unfortunately, even on our side, we got to wait for people to die before opportunities open for fresh blood. People who actually, I mean, like these people are about to die. any minute now. They don't have decades. So the decisions they're making, they're not even going to be around to fully enjoy the fruits of that labor. You and I are going to be here. If you're 50 and younger, you are going to have to live with the decisions that a bunch of 80-year-olds, 70-year-old people are making right now. How does that make you feel, Matt? How old are you? You look like you're in your 20s.
I'm not in my 80s. Yeah. So that doesn't sound so appealing to me.
How does that feel?
I don't
Matt,
like it. I don't like it one bit.
Yeah, you're going to have to live with they ain't even going to be around. You know what? I don't know if you can find that clip, but I think the younger George Bush actually said it when someone was asking him about a decision he made with a war. He was like, well, we're not going to be around. You know, he was so dumb.
There was a clip that was circulating on X a couple days ago. It was Jim Clyburn, the representative from South Carolina, I believe. He was on a podcast, and he said that he had only found out about ChatGPT 2 weeks prior.
Wow.
He didn't have any idea what it was.
Wow.
Never even heard of it.
OMG. And those people are making decisions.
It's terrifying.
I mean, they probably don't even have a good 10 years left at them.
I kind of think some of the representatives don't even know how to use the internet.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sure. Remember Kamala Harris, artificial intelligence, it stands for, or AI, it's artificial intelligence. And then cackle, 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 cackle. I'm so done with these people, and they just won't die. They won't just die or retire. Pick it. I don't really care. Pick one. Retire, die. Just go away. Get out. Get out. I wish I had that Medea voice when he's like, get out. Just get out. So that the rest of us who actually love the country, who actually have ideas and a vision, can get in. But y'all saw what they did to me. When fresh ideas, fresh opinions, people who actually love the country, actually do the work, earn the vote. Well, these old biddies, they just run in, throwing wet blankets over the fire. And that's on our side. So we have to become an equal opportunity offender. We cannot, just because someone has an R next to their name, we can't be like, oh, yep, yep. No, that's brainwashing as well. Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. I said that on air. That's when Vivek Ramaswamy called me because he was going to run for office. I'm telling you, Dr. Oz we were on our first television debate, and Donald Trump had just given him his endorsement. And every time the moderator asked a question to Dr. Oz, the only answer he would give, and he was standing right next to me like a peacock, and he would shuffle his shoulders and say, Donald Trump just endorsed me. Donald Trump just endorsed me. If you can see me, I'm shimmying. Donald Trump just endorsed me. He just kept saying it. So then finally, the moderator remembers there are more than just two people in the room, and she looks at me and asks me a question. I don't even know what she asked me. But the first thing came to my mind is like, Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. And because Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ, we don't expect him to be perfect. And this decision to endorse Dr. Oz, we know, is not perfect. The best thing Donald Trump could have ever done for me was endorse me. The second best thing he could have done for me was endorse Dr. Oz. Because the moment he endorsed Dr. Oz, everybody, not everyone, but everybody started Googling and Twittering and trying to figure out who's the better option, because they knew it wasn't Dr. Oz. But the GOP doesn't care. The GOP is looking at name ID and his personal bank account. And yeah, he spent a lot of money. The top two men, it was three of us. I was number 3. The top two men spent $60 million combined in that race. I spent less than $2 million, and I was whooping their behinds and taking names while I was doing it. and twirling when I walked on stage and walked off. Oh, you remembered me. They hated it. And I loved it. Because the last thing they wanted was somebody to pass me the mic. Here's the call-in number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. But we're going to need some of that, y'all. We're going to need some of that. We're going to have to become defiant again as a nation. We need some of that 1776 juice, that 1776 spirit. Do we have any more 1770? Do we have the spirit of 1776 among us anymore? I'm here. My hands are up. Okay, give me a call. See you on the other side.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget. Because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy, or Wells Fargo for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless-leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinic treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
There's a moment when performance becomes unstoppable. Because once you've found your drive, ordinary just isn't enough. The versatile BMW X3 turns ambition into action. The X5 boasts unrivaled comfort and confidence. And the iconic 3 Series delivers pure exhilaration. Why settle when greatness is within reach? The BMW Ultimate Sales Event on now.
Visit BMW of Westchester on Route 202 for a personalized test drive today.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies on the dollar. As a leading tax resolution firm, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, hundreds of 5-star reviews, and a 4.9-star rating on Google because we deliver results and huge savings. If you owe $5,000 or more and even facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, call us today at 800-470-3405. Once you call, our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free, and within minutes, start negotiating a settlement. We'll put a stop to collections and fight to get you the best settlement possible. Choose the company Americans trust most. Call Priority Tax Relief now at 800-470-3405 to see what relief you qualify for. Don't wait. Make the call. Dial 800-470-3405. Once again, that's 800-470-3405.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Awesome, little man. My daughter walked downstairs and she saw me watching this video just over and over and over. I was like, who would hurt this little soul? Democrats would tell him, if you think you're a girl, let's put you on puberty blockers and chemically castrate you now. That's love. No. You look at something like this, someone like this, and what happened to us as a nation, as adults? Why are we not rushing in to protect the most vulnerable among us? Even the little blackbirds around my house. I got to tell you guys real quickly about my chickens. I love my chickens. I love it. I'm a country girl. I'm from Alabama. I love my chickens. And I got these chickens, but doggone it, these hawks are everywhere. Hawks! Every time I look around, they're just everywhere. They're flying around. And I had my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, because after a while, I began just really paying attention to these hawks. My husband spent about 2 hours just filming the hawk. And let me tell you, hawks are predators. And they're just staring, these big black eyes. There's no white, it's just black. And they're just staring and peering into my baby's little chicken coop. And they're just jumping from one branch to another branch and just staring. And they're just watching. And they're still. They're so super still. And they're just watching for the opportunity. When the opportunity is upon them, they pounce. And they got one of my chickens. What? Freaking out. But my chickens are fighters, right? So they were able to get away and go under. We got all these trees in the backyard, and they all scurried under these trees. But let me tell you, it's brutal. But I learned some lessons because I realized after spending time outside with my chickens and my garden and my apple trees, this is like a little farm back there in the backyard, is that when the predator is around, when the hawks are around, all of a sudden, what was once quiet gets real loud. All these little birds starts chirping, chirp, 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 chirp. And then we start seeing these little black birds like torpedoing, just hurling themselves into the hawk, beating the hawk, hitting the hawk, keeping up all this noise. What were they doing? It's called a collective. And they're small, but together, they come together and they fight the predator. We got some predators, y'all. China, AI, globalists, bureaucrats. They're all predators. And they're sitting there looking for the opportunity to pounce and to strangle life. This not hyperbole. Look at what we've been living through. It's here. We got predators all around us. What we need in order to fight them, be a little black bird and start all of us together, small but fierce, hurling ourselves, getting loud, not being quiet, and provide cover. They send out the alarm so that the others, the weaker ones, can go hide and get cover and protect themselves from the predator. That's the lesson that my chickens and the hawk has taught me. And the little black birds. Be a black bird. Blessings. Y'all take care of yourselves out there. And don't forget to think.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs,